Hey guys, welcome back to Seller Sessions. So welcome back to the show, Benjamin Weber. Hey Benjamin, how you doing?
Good. How about yourself?
I'm all good. So today we're going to be talking about Leaf Node. We mentioned this, or you brought this up as a subject, didn't you, in our
Yeah,
last one where we're doing, I think this is the third we've done now, isn't it? Third
it
podcast
is.
together?
Yeah.
Yeah. So in the second podcast, you want to go back on sellersessions.com, search for Benjamin's name. You'll find it there. We were talking about some of the hacks that you use in order to bring down a lot in terms of your logistical costs. And then on that show, we were talking about leaf nodes. So, do you want to quickly brief the audience? Because we said we'll revisit it, I'll look into it, and then we'll bring a two-dimensional perspective to it. But tell people about leaf nodes and what it means on the seller side, and I'll talk about Seller Central, seller support side.
Yeah, for sure. So leaf nodes are essentially Amazon's version of the category browse nodes that we enter in into the back end.
Mm,
So when we update our category, theoretically, it should create a new leaf node, but
yeah.
it doesn't always do that. So
Mhm.
the leaf nodes are something that only Seller Central, seller support reps are able to see,
Yeah.
or I guess your account managers or whatever. But Amazon employees are the ones who are able to see it. You can't actually see if you have them, which leaf nodes you have,
Yeah.
or if there are even any running.
Yeah.
And one of the ways that Amazon rates your listing is if it has leaf nodes. So not being
Yeah.
able to see if it has any makes it a little bit difficult to figure out what they are and what the value is. But
Yeah.
so since we signed up with we had a test trial run with a SaaS core rep,
Yeah.
and they sent us a IDQ Hawk report, which has the shows if we have a leaf node or not for it. It won't tell us what the leaf node goes to, but it will tell us if
Mm,
we have any.
yeah.
And from what we've been able to figure out, you can get multiple leaf nodes, so
Yeah.
you're not just limited to one.
Yeah.
And so that's a way to increase your visibility into different areas of the categories that you're in, and
Yeah.
also just to make your listing score higher with how Amazon rates it and how often they're likely to show it to somebody.
Indeed. Cool. So what I'll do is I'll go through, I'm just going to read out some of these screen grabs here. So status of the project. In 2019, we shifted the focus from leaf node coverage towards clarification, accuracy, correctness of assignment of browse nodes. This prioritization in alignment with the WW browse team and done miscalculations as much more visible defect than the async in the branch nodes. Customers confirm via search feedback that customer studies, if they are limited by seeing products which are unrelated to the searches, the classification accuracy product is tracked in this wiki. So then you've got the project overview. The main aim of Leaf Node Assignment Project is to improve the discoverability, and this is based in the EU, right? EU5 soft-lined ASINs by ensuring that these are assigned to a leaf node. We define a leaf node as the last browse node in the EU5 softlines tree visible on the website. Leaf Node Leaf Node Coverage Tracker. We launched EU Softlines Browse Leaf Node Coverage Report to simplify access to correct numbers. The report automatically refreshes every week and contains snapshots as well as performance trends, which goes back to what we'll discuss in a moment, which will go to the front end reports that you're talking about when we chat about it in a moment. I'm just pulling out some other information here. Let me just see what's worth reading off of these lists. Currently, the report automatically refreshes each week and contains snapshots as well as performance trends. We also implement two assignment processes that we runate on a weekly basis. One, leaf node assignments generation based on local catalog attributes. Two, leaf node assignments mapping can be defective ASINs that are assigned in a leaf node in any EU marketplace. So you would convert that to US, etc., for the language of this document. All assignments are controlled by both pattern-based and visual audit processes before implementing them into the catalog in order to ensure the high accuracy rate. The graph below describes the process. So this graph will just break it down, which I won't bring up on the screen. So there's a correction process, there's a cover and measurement on a continuous process. Then you've got the root cause investigation of the continuous process. And then you've got the audit process. And then you've got the assignment. So at the end, the ASIN's assignment via Breyer's direct assignment into the marketplace of where it is defective. So the information I've got on here on the back end is purely on basis of what is a leaf node, where does it come from, what is it generally utilized, which is a repair mechanism for clarification of categories, subcategories, and everything else, as I understand it. Is that right?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, cool. So let's talk about the other end of the spectrum where you have an account manager who will then come to you and why they're talking about it in terms of improvement of visibility and ranking.
Right. So from just as an example, we have maybe counting the variations, we have maybe 1,200 ASINs. And going through and looking at the ones that that don't have a leaf node on them, 15 of those ASINs are doing more than $2,000 in sales a month. And of those, Amazon only scores 2 of them as A's as far as the listing quality score that they're basing it off of. And that impacts how often you show up. Like if you have a bad listing, they're not going to show you as often.
Yeah.
And so getting our IDQ grade or quality score up is going to be super important. But we have ones that previously did sell really well, don't have a leaf node now, and these sales on them have gone down to basically nothing. Like as an example, we have one child in a family that does not have a leaf node for it, and it is doing about $1,800 a month. The lead ASIN in that family is doing just over 50 grand.
Right.
And they're essentially the same product, slightly different colors, but one has a very high score and the other has at this point, it's a 75 as far as Amazon's IDQ grade. So just adding a leaf node to that, on the test that we did, it adds about 15% to your score.
Right.
So by just getting a leaf node onto that one, we're going to go from a 75 to a 90, which is going to improve the visibility on that. And then I'll be able to see what the actual increase in sales we get from that is. But the ones that she updated for us last month, we saw about a 20% increase as far as the number of sessions and page views that we had.
Right. Excellent. And so what are some of the things, what are the other things you've discovered and how you implementing this to make these improvement? Obviously you've got a lot of ASINs, but where is the points, the touch points? So for the people, the sellers that are listening to the show, where would that benefit them, and what are the next steps in order to improve on this?
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously visibility is good for everybody, but the main reasons that I see, to get it done, you should be able to just reach out to seller support and say, hey, could you update my leaf nodes? And they should do it. Yeah. You may have to go through some hurdles to get it done. We're fortunate that we have an account rep that we can just say, hey, do this, and they do it. But as you improve your visibility, it's going to help your sales, it's going to help your conversions, it's going to help everything. And it's going to help you get some bestseller badges. Like that's some of the things that we plan to test are going into other leaf nodes that are sort of parallel to our product, but maybe don't have many sellers in them, to see if we can get bestseller badges and how we can pivot away from just being in our main categories to get into maybe something that we wouldn't typically be in. So like I'm trying to think of an example that's not our product, but like, let's say if we're selling vacuum filters, and rather than just being in a vacuum filter category, if we can get into a browse node or a leaf node rather for spring cleaning products or something like that, where we can get into categories that aren't directly what the product is, but are correlated enough that it makes sense for us to be in them. And testing things like that to see where we can improve our visibility outside of where we're at, and see if we can get impressions and page views and clicks, conversions, everything from areas that we weren't getting them before or weren't getting them as highly as we'll be able to.
Yeah. So for context, like for sellers, if they want to, like, let's discuss how this kind of come about and what they
Yeah.
can do until the, obviously don't reference any podcast that you've heard about leaf nodes reading out information, screen grabs. Yeah. So please don't do
Right.
that. This is for your benefit, but yeah, don't shoot the messenger. What is the best way for them to go about it? Is a speech, because obviously you're going to have to be of a level of a certain level terms as a seller, because this came from an account manager that you have
Right.
at the scale that you work at, etc. So there might be limitations if you're just doing 6 figures or below, or mid 6 figures. There must be a threshold there. But what would be the approach? Because if you just contact seller support and ask about leaf modes, it just might just go around in a loop, is what I'm thinking.
Right. Yeah, I think that is a potential issue.
It's new language for most people. Even
Right.
listen to the podcast, even people within the industry themselves, that even in masterminds and stuff, there's going to be a few, but it's quite new language for most people.
Yeah. So I would try to, I mean, everybody's been talking about the catalog team for a couple of years, but that would be if I were trying to get this set up through seller support, that would be my first effort, would be to get through to the actual catalog team and request it that way. I would probably try doing it by calling, just because you're more likely to get information from a rep that way, in my opinion, because they can't really put you off as well. The only way they can do it is they say, we're going to transfer this to the correct team. And then you may get the runaround after that. But I think that in my experience, I've had better luck with kind of obscure attempts by calling in and saying, hey, I'd like to do this. And they feel pressured to give you some kind of an answer.
Yeah, I was just thinking about, sorry to butt in, what they could do is could intentionally fuck up a flat file, creating errors, saying that you can't fix it, and then try and get someone on the phone in the catalog team. And then while they're on there trying to fix it, you can then start asking them questions about leaf node. It's a bit covert, if you like, but that might be an angle in as well. Because like you said, sending the message, the AI picks up, in the system picks it up, leaf mode, what's that, sends it into the abyss, so it's just spinning, and then you just get a load of junk messages back.
Right. Yeah. And it's interesting. Like, I was looking for articles about leaf nodes just to see if other people have been talking about it. And I found a few from 2019. And then from like 2019 to like 2022, it seemed like it just disappeared from what people were talking about or thinking about.
And where's these pertaining to sites related to Amazon or Amazon? It wasn't like third parties writing blog posts and stuff.
Well, one was a blog post and then one was an Amazon one.
Yeah, I'll do a search after the show and add them to the show notes probably. Then people can have a look for themselves as well. So what's the next steps? What can you see the real benefits coming here with leaf nodes? We just mentioned about how you're going to go about it. But if we were to summarize the show, how would you break this down? Leaf nodes are X, Y, and Z, how they benefit for ranking and how they should be tested once you got access.
Yeah. So leaf nodes are a way to improve your quality score with Amazon as far as your listing, improve your visibility for customers, get into categories that you are maybe not showing up as prominently as you would want to, and a way to get an advantage on your competition. Like if they're in one leaf node and you're in 3, you're going to have a big advantage. Excuse me. So all of that combines to give you likely better conversions, because people are going to find your product that are looking for things like your product. But it's also going to give you more money. So, I mean, like if you're looking for your terminal goal from this, it's adding leaf nodes gives you more money.
Indeed. Cool. I think we can wrap there. I just also want to say I'll be making some announcements about May 6th for the next Seller Sessions Live after the Christmas party this week. Lineup's done, and Ben, welcome aboard. We're flying you to the UK. You're going to be on stage as well. I'm really looking forward to you. We're also doing a hacks competition, so we're going to do £1,000 cash prize for the winner. Little idea. Thank you, Kevin King. If you listen, he listens to the show. I picked that up when I met you over in Austin. It worked really well. Absolutely. So it'd be nice to get 10, 15, 20 sellers on stage at Seller Sessions as well. And get those kind of small chunks of hacks, if you like. I'm not really a hacks person, but in the main, because hacks normally just mean hacks, but I'll be filtering through. So anyone listening to the shows, coming to seller sessions, everyone can enter. We just need to know what you want to present and why it's of value to the audience. Tickets are on sale now. Just go to Eventbrite, and more information, full lineup and stuff coming soon. Ben, what's the best way that people can reach you?
Easiest way still is probably just hopping on Facebook, Benjamin Weber. I think my picture is currently a picture of Falling Waters, the Frank Lloyd Wright House.
Cool. All right, guys, thank you for joining us today. Ben, thank you. If this is your first time, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Sean will be up next, and I'll see you again next week. Take care.